Somewhere in a parking lot right now, a Hyundai owner is turning the key and hearing a knock that wasn't there last week. It starts faint, almost like a lifter tick, and within a few thousand miles, it can turn into a deep, metallic rattle that makes mechanics wince before they even pop the hood. For over a decade, that sound has been the signature of one specific Hyundai engine, and it's cost the company more than $5 billion in recalls, lawsuits, and warranty extensions. But here's the part most buyers never hear. Not every Hyundai carries that risk. There's a very clear line between the engine you should walk away from and the one that actually earned Hyundai's reputation back. Today, we're breaking down exactly where that line sits, what went wrong, how Hyundai fixed it, and which engine has to be under the hood before a Hyundai is worth your money. The engine that wrecked Hyundai's reputation. If you've spent any time researching used Hyundais, you've probably run into the name Theta II. It's a four-cylinder engine family Hyundai introduced in the late 2000s, built in displacements of 2.0 and 2.4 liters, and it ended up powering an enormous share of the lineup. The Sonata, the Tucson, the Santa Fe, and their Kia siblings, the Optima, the Sportage, and the Sorento, all leaned on this engine for years. On paper, it looked like exactly what a modern buyer wanted. Solid horsepower, respectable fuel economy, and the kind of direct injection technology that was becoming standard across the industry right around the same time. The problem wasn't the concept behind the engine. It was how the engine was actually built on the production line. During manufacturing at Hyundai's Alabama plant, machining debris was left behind in the crankshaft oil passages during the deburring process meant to clean them out. That debris didn't just sit there quietly. It circulated through the engine's oiling system, and over time, it scored the connecting rod bearings, the components that let the crankshaft spin smoothly under load while the pistons fire above it. Once those bearings wear unevenly, the engine starts losing oil pressure exactly where it needs it most, and the countdown to failure begins, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly. How the failure actually happens. What makes this engine especially frustrating for owners is that the failure doesn't always come with much warning. Some drivers report a knocking sound that builds gradually over weeks, giving them at least a chance to get to a shop before real damage sets in. Others describe their engine stalling at highway speeds with almost zero notice, which is a genuinely dangerous way to find out something is wrong with your car. In the more severe documented cases, the connecting rod itself fractures and punches straight through the engine block, and there have been credible reports of vehicles catching fire as a direct result of that kind of catastrophic failure. The average failure point tends to land somewhere around 90,000 miles, which is about the worst possible timing for most owners. That's usually right after a first owner has traded the car in or sold it privately, and right when a second owner is just starting to trust that they made a smart purchase. Independent teardown analysis on high mileage. Theta II engines backs this pattern up in detail. Mechanics who've opened these motors after a failure consistently point to the same root cause. Metal debris trapped in the oil galleries, scoring the bearing surfaces until they simply give out under normal driving load. This isn't a maintenance problem you can outrun with perfect oil changes alone. Though sticking to shorter intervals, some owners report every 3,000 miles instead of the usual 5,000 or more. Does seem to buy extra time before symptoms show up. At its core, it's a manufacturing defect that was baked into the engine before it ever left the factory floor, which is exactly why no amount of babying the car after the fact can fully guarantee it won't happen to you. The recall that wasn't enough. Hyundai didn't move quickly on this once the pattern became obvious to regulators and consumers alike. The first major recall didn't arrive until September of 2015, covering around 470,000 Sonatas from the 2010 and 2011 model years. A second recall followed in March of 2017, pulling in another 570,000 Sonatas and Santa Fe Sport models built between 2013 and 2014. Kia, sharing the same engine architecture across its own lineup, issued parallel recalls covering the Optima, Sportage, and Sorento, adding more than 600,000 additional vehicles to the total. All told, well over 1 million vehicles were eventually swept into these campaigns before the dust settled. The delay itself became part of the story and arguably made the fallout worse than it needed to be. A Hyundai safety engineer eventually filed a whistleblower report with federal safety regulators, accusing the company of sitting on known defect data far longer than it should have before issuing a public recall. That accusation added serious fuel to a wave of class action lawsuits, and by the time settlements were finalized, Hyundai and Kia combined had spent more than $2 billion on fines, legal settlements, engine replacements, and extended warranty coverage. A 2021 settlement ultimately gave affected owners a lifetime warranty on the engine itself, though it came with a catch. Owners had to get a knock sensor installed first, a device designed to detect the early vibration signature of bearing failure and trigger a warning light before the engine seizes completely. A follow-up settlement in 2022 expanded coverage further, adding related new and Gamma engine variants that shared some of the same underlying design vulnerabilities, even though the Theta II remained the engine most closely associated with the scandal. Which Hyundai models are affected? If you're shopping the used market today, the danger zone is fairly well defined and worth memorizing before you go car shopping. Theta II 2.0-liter and 2.4-liter engines showed up in Sonatas built between roughly 2011 and 2019, along with Tucson, Santa Fe, and Santa Fe Sport models from overlapping years. On the Kia side, the same architecture landed in the Optima, Sportage, and Sorento across similar model years, since the two brands share platforms and engine families under the same parent company. If you're looking at any of these vehicles from that window, the engine question isn't optional. It's arguably the single most important thing to check before you hand over a deposit or sign a bill of sale. The good news is that checking is genuinely straightforward and takes almost no time. Every affected vehicle has a VIN that can be run directly through the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's recall lookup tool, and the search itself takes less than a minute once you have the number in hand. Don't assume a previous owner already handled it, even if the seller insists everything has been taken care of. A huge number of these cars have changed hands 2 or 3 times since the recall was first issued, and plenty of them still haven't had the fix applied. Whether that fix is a knock sensor installation or, in more severe cases, a full engine replacement covered under the class action settlement terms. What a failure actually costs you. It's worth being blunt about the financial side of this, because it's the part that turns a bad engine into a genuinely painful ownership experience. A full engine replacement on a Theta II-powered Sonata or Santa Fe, if you're paying out of pocket without warranty coverage, commonly runs into the thousands of dollars once you factor in the engine itself, labor, and any related components damaged by the metal debris circulating through the system. Even with the lifetime warranty in place for confirmed original recall vehicles, getting that coverage applied means proving eligibility, getting the knock sensor installed if it wasn't already, and often dealing with a dealership service department that isn't always eager to move quickly on a warranty claim that costs them money. For a used car buyer purchasing several owners removed from the original sale, none of that safety net is guaranteed to transfer cleanly, which is exactly why confirming the recall status before you buy matters so much more than confirming it after you already own the car. The engine Hyundai built to fix it. Here's where the story turns around, and it's the whole reason this video exists in the first place. Hyundai didn't just patch the Theta II and hope owners forgot about it. Starting in 2019, they replaced it with an entirely new architecture called Smartstream, and the 2.5-liter version of that engine is the one you actually want to see listed on the window sticker. It shows up in the current generation Tucson, Santa Fe, and Sonata, along with their Kia and Genesis counterparts, and it represents a genuine ground-up redesign rather than a quick fix bolted onto the old problem. The headline feature is something called Continuously Variable Valve Duration, or CVVD, which is a level of precision the Theta II never came close to offering. Instead of just adjusting when the intake valves open, the way older variable valve timing systems worked, CVVD adjusts how long they actually stay open based on real-time driving conditions. That might sound like a small engineering detail buried in a spec sheet, but it directly improves combustion efficiency, and Hyundai has reported fuel economy gains of up to 10% over the engine it replaced. The Smartstream also runs a higher compression ratio at 10.5 to 1, uses a timing chain instead of some of the more failure-prone components found in the old design, and incorporates a more sophisticated thermal management system specifically engineered to prevent the kind of overheating that plagued its predecessor for years. What makes Smartstream different? The honest answer is that no engine earns a completely clean bill of health after only a handful of years on the road, and Smartstream is no exception to that rule. Early Smartstream 2.5-liter engines have shown some documented issues with carbon buildup on the intake valves, particularly in units built between October of 2019 and October of 2020, along with occasional reports of oil consumption and fuel injector problems in isolated cases. There was even a smaller connecting rod bolt recall affecting a limited batch of these engines, though industry technicians have been clear that this was a narrow production quality escape affecting a small number of units, rather than the kind of systemic design flaw that defined the Theta II from the very beginning. What matters most here is the scale of the difference between the two. The Theta II problem touched well over 1 million vehicles and became one of the largest engine recall campaigns in American automotive history. The Smartstream issues that have surfaced so far are measured in dozens of affected units, not hundreds of thousands. Owners who've pushed their Smartstream engines past 150,000 miles with regular maintenance report, smooth, trouble-free operation, and independent reliability trackers now rate the Smartstream 2.5 as a meaningful step up from the engine it replaced. Consumer Reports has continued to rank Hyundai among the top 10 most reliable car brands in the country, even through the aftermath of the Theta II scandal, which tells you the company's broader engineering has held up far better than that one engine family alone would suggest. How to check before you buy. So, how do you actually apply all of this the next time you're standing in front of a used Hyundai on a dealer lot or in someone's driveway? Start with the window sticker if it's still available, or ask the seller directly for the vehicle's build sheet, both of which will list the exact engine code stamped into the paperwork. If you're looking at a Sonata, Tucson, or Santa Fe from roughly 2011 through 2019, ask directly whether it carries the 2.0 or 2.4-liter Theta II, and if so, whether the recall work has actually been completed and documented. Don't take a verbal yes for an answer, no matter how confident the seller sounds. Pull the VIN yourself using the free Federal Recall Lookup tool and check it against the database before you're anywhere near signing a purchase agreement or handing over a deposit. If you're shopping newer inventory instead, 2020 and later, Tucson, Santa Fe, and Sonata models equipped with the 2.5-liter Smartstream engine are the safer bet by a wide margin, especially if the seller can produce a clean maintenance history showing on-time oil changes and no major warning lights along the way. That single detail, more than trim level, paint color, or even mileage on its own, is what separates a Hyundai that will still be running strong a decade from now from one that's quietly a ticking clock sitting in your driveway. The badge on the trunk doesn't tell you which car you're actually getting. The engine code stamped on the block does, and it's worth the extra 5 minutes every single time. What to listen for on a test drive. Paperwork only tells you part of the story, and a smart buyer treats the test drive itself as a diagnostic tool rather than just a formality before signing paperwork. Start the engine cold if the seller will allow it, since a warm engine that's already been idling for 20 minutes before you arrive can mask early symptoms that would otherwise be obvious. Listen closely for the first several seconds after startup. A healthy engine settles into a smooth, even idle, almost immediately. A Theta II with early bearing wear often reveals itself right there, with a faint knocking or ticking sound that fades slightly as oil pressure builds, then returns under load once you're driving. Take the car onto a stretch of road where you can accelerate hard from a stop, and then let off the throttle abruptly. Rod bearing issues tend to get louder under acceleration and during deceleration, when the load on the crankshaft shifts rapidly. If you hear a deep metallic knock that changes pitch with engine speed rather than a light tick that stays constant, that's a red flag worth walking away from, regardless of how good the rest of the car looks or how attractive the asking price is. It's also worth checking the oil yourself before you drive, if the seller allows it. Oil that looks unusually dark, gritty, or metallic on the dipstick can be an early sign of exactly the kind of internal wear this engine is known for, even before the sound becomes obvious to the ear. Why the engine code matters more than the trim level. It's tempting to shop for a Hyundai the way most people shop for any car, by comparing trim levels, options packages, and sticker price side by side. But with this specific brand and this specific engine history, that approach can lead you straight into a car that looks like a great deal on paper and turns into an expensive mistake within a year or two of ownership. Two Sonatas from the same model year, same trim level, and nearly identical mileage can carry completely different risk profiles depending on which engine sits under the hood and whether that engine's recall was ever actually completed. That's not something you can tell from a photo listing or a price comparison spreadsheet. It only shows up once you go looking for the engine code specifically, which is exactly why this one detail deserves more attention than horsepower figures or infotainment features when you're comparing options. The bottom line: Hyundai's reputation took a real hit because of one engine family, and the Theta II's rod-bearing failures were serious enough to justify a healthy dose of caution from any used car shopper. But treating every single Hyundai as a gamble misses the bigger picture entirely. The company rebuilt its engine lineup from the ground up, and the Smartstream 2.5-liter is proof that the lesson actually landed inside their engineering department. Buy the wrong engine and you're rolling the dice on a repair bill that can run into the thousands. Buy the right one, and you're looking at a genuinely solid, modern platform backed by a brand that's earned its way back into the reliability conversation on merit. Check the code, check the VIN, and you'll know exactly which Hyundai you're standing in front of before you ever hand over a single dollar.